I'm Francesca Warnken, the founder of Awakened Soul. It is actually my great pleasure today to introduce you to a dear friend of mine, Lia Bernardo. So, welcome, Lia. Lia Bernardo is considered one of the leading experts in the areas of personal development and emotional well-being. She is the founding partner of Atma Prema Wellbeing Group, Inc., which specializes in corporate well-being programs for burnout and anxiety prevention, value formation, and life purpose. Lia's teachings are centered on self-love and personal empowerment, which focus on changing limiting beliefs, perceptions, and the integration of purpose into one's everyday life. So, yeah, great pleasure to have her here today at Awakened Soul. Thank you all for joining. Hello, Lia.
Hi, Francesca. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's a great pleasure. We've been, we haven't seen each other for a while, but I've been wanting to
Yes.
invite you for a while now. I know you have such a busy schedule, so I'm so glad that you were able to join us
Of
today.
course, of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And so, you know, I love this that you call yourself the happiness doctor. That's a great title.
Thank you.
So, how is it like to be a happiness doctor? Or what is it? How did you come about with that name?
Well, I didn't. Actually, it was coined by Risa Regala Garcia, who was then a writer for Lifestyle Asia magazine. And she's a good friend of mine, and she was assigned to interview me. So I thought it was such a great opportunity for us to really talk and communicate and to tell her what I was doing. And when I opened the magazine, it said the happiness doctor. And I called her up immediately and I said, this is it. This is this, because I needed that one thing that described what I do, right?
Right.
And she captured it. She completely captured it. So I said, can I have the name? And she said, yes, of course. And so that's how I became the happiness doctor. So it was the title of a feature article on me and the work that I do.
Wow, that's a great title because I'm sure everybody in one point in their life needs to see a happiness doctor.
You know what, Francesca, no matter how many people there are in the room, it can be 3, it can be 3,000. If I say who here wants to be happier, every single person will raise their hand.
True, true. So, so can you share with us what is like probably the most common thing you hear from people who are unhappy?
Hmm. Okay. And this is also the formula for unhappiness. Um, it's thinking that things should be a certain way. It should have been this way, or I should be like this by now, or things should be different. That is the recipe for unhappiness.
So expectation.
Not necessarily. It's yes and no. I think expectation is a little too broad, because it's more like demanding something from yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and by demanding, you're creating a judgment, and when you're demanding and you're judging something of yourself, what are you communicating to yourself? You're communicating to yourself that you're not enough. And
Right.
when you communicate to yourself that you are not enough, it's next to impossible to be happy, because you're coming from lack, and you're coming from the belief that something outside of you will make you happy. So I hear people say, I should have been married by now, but marriage is not necessarily equal to happiness, correct? Or I'll be happy when my kid graduates from school, but be happy now is what we always say.
Yeah, yeah. I think I could really resonate with that. Yeah, I guess
Mm.
when people are always waiting to attain something or be something
Mm.
to finally say, oh, then I get there, I'm gonna be happy,
Yeah,
right?
or I will do this when I reach this goal. But
Right,
it's being presented to you now. So why don't you do this now? Because why wait till you reach your goal? What's being presented to you might not be there when you reach your goal.
right, right. It's like just enjoying the journey of getting there rather than the destination.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, nice. Okay, great. And so could you just share with us like what does being happy mean to you?
It's having it's really at the end of the day, it's how you see yourself, how much you like yourself, how much you trust yourself, and how much you accept yourself. So it's self-love more than there's no other way to happiness except through self-love.
Yeah. Yeah, self-love seems to be a very popular term these days. Like,
I'm glad, finally,
yeah,
finally. It's about time.
sure. I know you've been preaching about this for years now because I remember when we first met, that's what you've told me, and that was many years ago.
That
And
was
yes,
many years ago.
yeah, maybe over 5, 6 years ago. My son now
Yes,
is 6 years old,
yes,
and I
yeah.
remember you were talking about self-love a lot. There, I feel there are different definitions of self-love. Like, what would you say that self-love? When you say self-love, I mean it's so like, okay, what do you mean? Like, I love myself. I do things for myself.
Yes,
What is true?
self-love, the
Yeah.
way I define it is the way you nurture yourself, the way you accept yourself. It's your relationship with yourself, which includes, I divide it into three stages, or, it's so hard for me to label it as stages or parts or whatever. So into three categories. And the first being self-nurturing, the second is self-acceptance, and the third is self-sovereignty. And I think this is what makes up self-love in a very generalized perspective, because I teach this, and so people get so attached to structure, and this is the closest thing I've come to be able to teach it with a little bit of structure, because I think the first step to loving oneself is to really learn how to nurture yourself in whatever way you need nurturing. So let's try a little experiment with you. Close your eyes,
Okay.
close your eyes, and think of the last time you were laughing hysterically.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now open your eyes. So we're going to erase that and close your eyes again. And think of a time where you felt extremely secure, cared for, protected. Okay. See, I can already tell the answer by the look on your face. Open your eyes. Now, both were bright because both are happy memories, but which was brighter?
Which was brighter? Well, actually, the I, I felt when the laughing one, where I really laughed out loud.
Out loud. And so then that would probably be that is not probably, that's what you need to create more of in your life, because that's what makes you happy.
Oh. So there's no wrong
So
answer to that.
there's no wrong answer to that. Absolutely not. And right now it can be laughing and giggling and just, laughing with abandon. But
Yeah,
2 weeks from now it can be safety and security.
true, true.
So
Mm.
I mean, there's no right or wrong, and there's no. But you said it was laughing. Why is it safety and security now? People change, people evolve. And so what it is that that's what you ought to create more in your life, more moments of laughter. So laugh more. So create that. And the more you create that in your life, the happier you will be. And yes, it's that simple.
Wow,
Yes.
that's great. I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah. And so that's self nurturing, more of what feels good. Another part of self nurturing is feeding yourself, good food and taking care of your body. So moving, what you're eating, being very conscious of your words, because your words actually feed your thought patterns, which eventually become your beliefs. And so important. So anything that goes in is part of nurturing. The products that you use on your body, the food that you ingest, everything that would require you to grow. What are you watching on TV? What are you reading? What's in your environment? What are you allowing into your environment? All of that contributes to self-nurturing. Then you have self-acceptance. What do you like about yourself? How are you trusting yourself? How are you being kind to yourself? How are you treating yourself with compassion? How are you um, able to now believe in yourself, right? All of that comes with self acceptance. And I'm of the opinion that self acceptance cannot happen until you learn how to nurture yourself, because it's when you're nurturing yourself that you're really giving yourself love. Because self acceptance is not easy, because what's the default? Judging yourself and being self-critical, correct? And we need to stop that.
Yeah,
And 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 the only way that's going to stop is you do less and less of that every day. And how do you do less and less of being critical and judging yourself every day? Is to like a little bit of you every day.
right.
And then there's self-sovereignty, um, because the word empowered is so overused. Self sovereignty is where you're self directed. You take full accountability for your side of the fence. You take care of your own well being, and you make the necessary choices to make sure that you practice vibrational hygiene in your environment and within, and that you're able to declare your boundaries, and you're able to live your life in gratitude. So all those things make up self-love. It's complex, but so is putting yourself down, right? So choose. And of course, the choice for happiness will be self-love.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these sounds like really great information, but I'm just wondering, for people who are really struggling with like depression, like clinical depression, right? It's hard for them to even get to that state of understanding
Well,
like self-love
um,
or
yeah, but you it's, how will I put this? Like, I understand that it's difficult,
to
but
even get to even realize
it's,
what that those concepts are, you know?
yes, but you need to do it. In other words, my opinion is that you just need to do a little bit every day. Just do a little bit every day. Sometimes it's playing music and dancing, or playing music and singing along. And that's all you can do today. And that's huge,
Right, right.
because you didn't do that yesterday. So it's this is not something that you do overnight. You don't wake up you don't go from depression to happiness overnight. I mean, it took you a while to get into that depressive state,
Mm-hmm.
and it will take a while too to pull you out of it. But it starts with that little step of just not wanting to be there anymore, and you do it a little bit at a time. So maybe today, if you, even if you have a hard time getting out of bed, that you actually did, and you took yourself to the garden to have a walk. That's huge for somebody who can't even get out of bed.
True.
So celebrate those victories. Or if you can look in the mirror and say, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. That's like a ginormous step from where you were even 5 minutes before you did that. So it's a matter of perspective. And the thing is, you have to learn to start patting yourself on the back and stop demanding from yourself that um, you go from 0 to 60 in 1 second.
Yeah,
Takes a while. Takes a while.
that is true. That is true. We are so hard on ourselves a lot of
Yes.
times. Don't give enough
And
credit to
don't focus
ourselves.
on the fact that you can't
Mm,
do it.
right.
Don't focus on the fact that I can't even break a smile. She wants me to be happy. Then don't smile. Sing. But
Right.
don't sing sad songs. Try to choose a song that's not so sad today, and then tomorrow go to a happier song, and a happier song, and a happier song.
Nice.
There are ways, always ways, and we're here to guide. We're not here to judge.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so what are like the tips or tools maybe you can share with our viewers on how to stay happy? Like, currently currently what's going
Yeah.
on with the pandemic, a lot of people are going through so many challenges. One, like some would be financial difficulties because, due
Yes.
to the global pandemic, some have lost their jobs, or for those who can't get a job or looking for a job, like the youngsters who just graduated from school looking for jobs, and right now it's hard to get a job, or maybe they've lost their main source of income. This can really cause a lot of stress and yes, get bring people down.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And let me tackle the first part of your question first. So how do you stay happy? Don't let that be the goal,
Okay.
because you're a human being, and you will have moments where you're sad. You will have moments where you're angry. You will have moments where you just don't feel like doing anything. And again, for as long as you know that that's not a permanent state, you're okay to be there for a little while. But then again, that's not going to solve any problems either. So, what I'm saying is be okay with not being okay, but know that you can do something about it. And like, I call myself the happiness doctor, but doesn't mean I'm happy 24/7. I mean, I get angry, I get sad. We're all human, and we come with emotions. What it is that we shouldn't be judging our emotions, and just befriending our emotions and being comfortable with our emotions. Now, if something tragic happens to us, like a death of a loved one, or you get sick, or you lose your job, or you're so uncertain about your future, which is what's happening to a lot
Yeah.
of people right now. I'm not making this small, but again, you can't do anything about the problem, correct?
Yeah.
There's no solution. So accept that, because if you've lost your job, you're powerless to get that job back because you've already lost it. So I just want to put that in that perspective. Okay. So running the, oh my God, I lost my job. Oh my God, I lost my job will just spiral you down when
Mm-hmm.
that's already a given. And, and so wallow over it for a couple of days and then start believing in yourself again through gratitude. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. I know it's easier said than done, but the mere fact that you're sleeping on a bed is something to be grateful for. The
True.
mere fact that you have power at home is something to be grateful for. The mere fact that there's food on your table, even if it has to be a little bit less because we're saving a little bit of money, there's still food on your table. Be grateful for that. And
Right.
you'll find that when you're grateful for these little things and you focus on what you have, the frequency goes up, meaning you're going to feel a little bit better about yourself. And you just do a little bit more of this every day. And what happens is you learn to eventually, and hopefully sooner than later, learn that you can focus on what's good about life, because that's the only time you're going to be able to be innovative to create something new. So
Mm.
if you're thinking about losing that job, there's nothing you can do to bring that back. And so what's the solution is you need to find another way of making money, a new way of making money, right? Because we need the money,
True.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So staying in that loop is not going to help. But to get out of that loop, you're going to need a lot of mind works.
Right.
And you're going to need change the way you think and change the way you feel about yourself.
Mm.
And that's where personal responsibility comes in. Do I like feeling this way? No. If I continue feeling this way, will money come in? No.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then some people are saying, well, I don't know what else I can do. That's because you're not going inwards and liking who you are. Because once you like who you are, you will get creative, you will innovate. I promise you this, you will. And and it can be something so far away from what you were doing. Like a lot of people now are making food from their homes and selling that.
Yeah, that the food
And
business has gone like crazy.
yes, and remarkably so, communities are forming where people are supporting people that are selling from their homes. Like in my building alone, we have a group where people say, oh, I'm making sourdough bread, and you just put in your order. And so why? Because if I'm going to buy bread, I might as well buy it from my neighbor,
Right.
correct? And so that's where innovation comes in. But if you're still running, oh, I lost my job, I'm not getting any income, then you're not allowing yourself to venture off into the unknown and create something new for yourself. And there's so many home cooks now that are surviving. I mean, and I don't even want to use the word surviving because they're thriving. They're doing what they love,
Mm.
and they're so that's just one example. You'll also find that you may have other talents that you haven't tapped. So there's always a solution if you focus on the solution. The problem is never going to go away if you focus on the problem.
Yeah, it's true. I guess now it's kind of like being having be stuck at home. We've had to come up with different ways to get,
Hmm.
to make money, to be more creative. I've seen
Yes.
a lot of friends, doing what we're doing, Facebook lives, showing their talents, singing,
Yes.
dancing. And
And
it's
communities are forming. And for me, the answer to this is really forming communities, forming sustainable communities.
right. Okay, yeah. Nice. Okay, so I also wanted to ask you if you could give advice for those who are undergoing family stress. You know,
Same advice,
same
same advice. Take care of yourself first,
yeah.
because
Um,
stress is a result of fear.
Mm-hmm.
So stress is a fear-based response. What's the opposite of fear? Love. There's no, the answer will always be the same. The solution, as far as I'm concerned, is to like yourself a little bit more and to love yourself a little bit more. And those who don't want to take that route, you'll find that circumstances, especially right now, will really bring you towards stopping and really going inwards and it's asking you to just stop, go inwards, and like yourself a little bit more. That's it.
Now, when you say stop and go inwards, you mean like, um,
Make
mm,
friends with yourself.
okay, yeah,
Make friends with yourself. Make friends with your emotions. Trust yourself a little bit more. And you know what? More importantly, before you even get there, you have to nurture yourself. What does Francesca need today?
mm,
Like today, you may need healthy food. Today, you just might need a hug. To, or, and just do for Francesca what Francesca needs today.
yeah.
That's it.
Well, for me personally, I actually have I do daily rituals. Like,
That's
I do,
fine. That's nurturing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am very grateful for my yoga practice. That's really been a
Mm,
lifesaver for me during this
mm,
time in lockdown. And I do sound healing, and I go for a walk.
nice.
And I love to take my
Oh,
dogs
that's
for a
it.
walk.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's it.
yeah,
That's
and
it.
it's
Sometimes it's just going out, taking the dog for a walk, and you feel better.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. It's not rocket science. It's being appreciative of that time that you have with nature, taking your dogs for a walk, being outside. And it depends on what you're running in your head while you're doing that. Because other people are walking to us saying, oh, I have to walk the dog and now I'm perspiring and then, you know. See, it really all depends on what's going on in your head when you're doing something.
well, I like to listen to a lot of uplifting music. So I listen
Yes,
to a lot of,
music's my go-to too.
yeah, like if it's not a, I love mantra music, that. I love
Yes,
kirtan. And,
yes,
actually, Leah and I met also through the yoga community. We would used to,
yes.
yeah, yoga together. And
Yes.
yeah, so that, for me, when I feel I'm in a bad space, I just put on a track and I don't know.
That's how I do it too. When I wake up, it's music.
Yeah. Or I listen to a podcast, like inspiring
Nice.
podcast. That's
Nice.
always been helpful for me.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. But, meditating also, of course, that's always part of it, meditating.
Absolutely. Time and stillness. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
there are many, many resources. Choose whatever works for you.
Right. And prayer, I also do a lot of praying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it just
Nice.
like informal praying, not just the type of praying you just
Mm-hmm.
reciting, but actually
Mm-hmm.
talking to, like, my higher power or the divine or
That always works.
oh, wait a second, what's this? Oh, a second. Okay, we have a visitor. All right. Okay, so in the meantime, I also wanted to ask, for kids who are currently, when you have, right now, especially for a lot of mothers, there are parents, they're having to deal with, their kids being home, schooling their own home, they're homeschooling their own kids. And they're, a lot of the time, the kids are spending time on their screens, on their gadgets, have very little social life, and have very little time outdoors. And now there's even less play dates, and they're not able to even do the activities they used to enjoy. So this could cause a lot of frustration and boredom, or even anxiety for the kids and the families. So what kind of advice can you give for how to deal, how to deal with the kids, the kids and the family life, to keep it them from.
I'm muted. Um, this is such an inhuman way to live. And this is why
Yeah.
when people always say, what's your advice on this is not a way to raise children, period,
Right. Right.
right? It's not. And kids need to be outdoors. And this is why what I'm saying now is that this lockdown has caused a severe pandemic in emotional well-being more than the physical threat of the virus.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so there is no wrong or right way to do it at this point, but
Mm-hmm.
get the kids outside in any way you can. Meaning, if it's even staying in the car for a drive, or I don't know how you're going to do it. Like
Yeah,
we
because
have
they're
a
not
little
allowed in the malls. They're
yes,
not allowed to
they're
even
not
out
allowed.
for
I
seniors.
know,
It's
I
crazy.
know. So we have like everybody's living conditions are different, right? So we have a little garden outside where the
Mm-hmm.
kids come down and play, and it's so much fun to watch because but I, to tell you frankly, there is no way to do this properly
Mm,
because it's not the way to raise children.
right.
Sorry, that's I'm
Yeah.
not even going to sugarcoat it.
No, it's true.
Really, children are meant to be outside. Children are meant to play. Children are meant to interact.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
there is no healthy way of doing it because the whole thing is unhealthy to begin with.
That is so true. Yeah, well, I guess we just hope that things get under control, and then
Yeah,
they will loosen up a little bit, and they will be allowed to go out. And
yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, also, like, the kids now are spending a lot more time on social media, or not even just kids, adults too. What is your take on that, like on social media?
Well, like I said earlier, you need to really take full responsibility for your side of the facts. And social media is just a resource.
Mm-hmm.
So let's tackle the adults first.
Okay.
Curate your social media so that it's positive. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because if your social media is negative and if the feed is news and the feed is all of these things that bring you down, what do you think your mood's going to be at the end of the day? You're going to be down.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm on social media a lot because it entertains me, but I get inspiration from it. Meaning, I make sure that everything that comes out on my feed is either something I learned from, something that's pretty. So I have a lot of travel and hotels and all of that because that makes me happy.
Mm.
And so I have nothing on my feed that bashes anyone or talks politics or tells me that the world's going to end tomorrow. So, take take responsibility for what gets fed into your brain
Mm-hmm.
because it's all here. It's
Mm-hmm.
all about what you're thinking.
Right.
And that's a scientific fact.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're thinking becomes your belief becomes your life. And this is no longer debatable. It's scientifically proven. So um, and you don't even need to scientifically prove it. I mean, sit around and watch the news all day and you will be depressed.
That is
I
so true.
promise you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
even turn on the news.
No, I stopped watching like months
Yeah.
ago. I couldn't anymore.
Mm,
It's just
mm,
I was just getting anxiety from the news.
exactly. I mean, right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just there's just so much stuff out there in social media that's kind of scary, because I've
And
seen
so
a lot
you
of
need to
people.
edit.
Yeah.
You need to edit.
Yeah.
And that's how you take charge and you take
So like
control of
unfriend
what goes into your head.
or
Yeah,
block.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you need to, but not in anger, but more like um
The news
in just
feed, like what
yes,
comes in your.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, well, for me, I've been using it now as a resource to, like, let's say, like, that's why I started actually Awaken Soul. Awaken
Mm,
Soul, I
nice.
created, this page so that I could have some positive feed out
There you
on
go.
Facebook.
You do your own little contribution to uplift the spirits of people, and that's huge,
Yeah,
huge, huge,
thank
huge.
you. Yeah, so I'm so grateful to have met such amazing people like you
Thank
in
you.
um,
And
through
more
my
of this kind of work, please. Yes.
yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and you as well do a lot of amazing work. I am so amazed with this Atma Prema group. You've
Thank
come,
you.
yeah, maybe you would like to talk a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure, I would love to. We do, for those listening, we do a monthly class called Racing Frequencies. So that happens every first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. So each class is themed differently, so no two classes are the same. And so for November, sorry, October, November, December, my theme is the divine masculine. And
Oh,
so last October, we had three guest speakers who spoke about purpose. And then this this November, the one on November 3, we're going to have the theme is on finding courage through resilience. So it's about getting up each time you fall. And December, we're going to close the year with everyone's favorite topic, which is romantic relationships. So, but from the perspective of the masculine.
okay.
And so
Is it
so
only
that's
for
up.
men or for women
No, no,
as
no. It's for men and women. It's for
well?
women. We have a community. It's called the Racing Frequencies Community, and
Mhm.
it's for men and women because it's about the integration of the masculine and feminine in each and every one of us. So we will open 2021, January, February, and March with the sacred feminine. And so it's plotted out all the way till March now. So it's a nice group that we have. And next weekend I'm doing a workshop on forgiveness.
Yeah,
Um,
November 23 to 25, right? Um,
yes,
um,
and this is 2 hours a day, so we cut down a whole day into a shorter period. And I teach forgiveness. And I think that's so important right now because we're always taught we need to forgive. But what people don't realize is nobody's ever taught us how. And so I teach the how without drama and without asking the participants to share because it's such a private topic that
right.
so we've created it in a way wherein uh, it's safe for people to do this. And it's a workshop very dear to me because I started this whole personal growth series with the On Forgiveness workshop. And it wasn't because I was a forgiveness expert, but it was because I found it so difficult to forgive.
Yeah.
And so my mentor at that time, Tina Lebron, said, Leah, you're going to be the forgiveness teacher. And I'm like, why me? And I said, of course, that's my issue. It's so hard for me to forgive. And she looked at me and she goes, that's why you're going to be the forgiveness teacher. And I was like, oh my God. And of course, I'm still not claiming to be an expert, but it's something so dear to me because
Wow.
I have learned to understand forgiveness and I have learned to respect it.
Mm,
And this is why I continue to teach it because I think it's such a valuable tool, and it's a tool that is essential for loving yourself.
right. Yeah. Forgiveness is an interesting topic, I think.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because we say a lot, I forgive that person, I forgive that.
No,
But
no.
but then people tend to have a lot of resentment still, even if they say they
Yes,
forgive somebody.
yes. Then
Yeah.
that's not true forgiveness.
Yeah.
Or what I hate is when you're agonizing over something and you just forgive na lang. And I'm like,
Yeah. And you're
excuse me, I'm still emoting. So yeah, there are many, many myths to forgiveness, and the first myth that we really address is that forgiveness is at your own time, and you need to be ready to forgive. This is something you don't will yourself to do or rush yourself into doing. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah, so those two are there. So it's on my Instagram at Lia Bernardo. So and we also have the Atma Prema page, which is at Atma Prema Wellbeing Group.
okay.
So the schedules are all there.
Yeah. And you also have a Facebook page, the Atma Prema
Prema Wellbeing Group.
Wellbeing Group.
Yes, yes. But the Instagram is more updated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, those sound like amazing programs, and
They are loved for everyone to attend.
yeah. And I know you also do things with angels, right?
Yes, but we finished that already, so we're probably not going to run that this year anymore. It's we developed a healing with angels class that's brand new. We developed it just when the lockdown hit, and we've ran it twice already. It's pretty powerful class.
Wow. Yeah. 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 You have so many different things to learn that you can teach, to can for us to learn from. Like so many class. I want to take every class. It sounds amazing. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just wrap this up. But there's one last
Mm,
thing I thought maybe we could ask you, because I know right now this is the kind of like the issue that's ongoing, right? That there are a lot of people who are affected with COVID-19, and or who have family members who have been affected, or even who have
yes,
lost loved ones,
yes.
and I know it's a very challenging time for a lot of people, and
Mm,
I thought maybe you could just maybe give some recommendation how to help them go through this challenging time.
absolutely. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to go through that process of grief because while grief does not only apply to human life, and a lot of us have lost loved ones also, but it also applies to the collective energy of grief that we're all experiencing right now because there is a loss, and there's even a loss of identity for some.
Right.
And so stop trying to feel good all the time and stop thinking that there's something wrong with you because you're sad or you're grieving or you're worried. Whatever you're feeling, honor that and stay with that because that's an uncomfortable feeling that you need to befriend because it's only when you befriend your feelings that you're able to now change it and shift it to a higher frequency. But allow yourself that time. And I think that's the most important thing people should know, is that there is nothing wrong with you. You don't need fixing. You didn't do anything wrong. You are just experiencing emotions, probably for the first time, because you've kept them bottled up for so long, or you just refused to deal with it before. And it doesn't matter. The why doesn't matter. What matters is that you acknowledge the feeling now. And if it's the first time you're feeling these feelings, know that it's feelings, it's part of you. And that when you befriend your emotions, you're able to now say, okay, I choose not to feel this way anymore, and I'd like to change it to a higher level frequency, a higher level feeling. So I can go from lack to gratitude and then to abundance, or I can go from grief to from loss, from anger to acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's it. Allow yourself that time to grieve. It's so important.
Wow. Yes. Well, thank you so much. That's
Well, thank you for having me. Thanks.
beautiful advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, for anybody who's watching out there, if you want to type in any questions, we just you can put on the message chat, and before we close, anything, yeah, just you can just type, and right, we have a yeah. Just hello to everybody. There's a lot of Mary Cars on. Hernad is
Oh,
watching.
yes.
Annabelle.
Hi, Hernad.
Yeah, Gina. We have a lot of
Hi,
people there
Gina.
watching. Gilda, Christine,
Hi, Gilda.
Denise, Weldon,
Hi,
Larissa.
Denise.
A lot of friends. One.
Oh, I wish I could hug everyone.
I
Oh, it's so nice
know.
to hear even your names, because I can't see you. So, uh,
Yeah.
nice.
Well, oh, so I have one question from Christine Laurel. So, how do you stay in peace while seeking justice?
How do you stay in peace while seeking justice? What a beautiful question.
Yeah, that's in,
What a gorgeous question. And Christine, I don't know the specifics of why you asked this question, because the answer would probably be different per specific. Okay. But um, I will answer it generally, meaning don't fight, don't go into battle. Okay? Do not go into battle. And this is where it is allowing the wheels of justice, the laws of karma, the what will happen, because there is a way that the universe is. I'm pretty sure you're a spiritual person, or else you wouldn't be asking this question. And so there is a way in which the energies of the universe will always balance itself out and create harmony.
mm,
And so there it needs to be a certain amount of trust and knowing that justice will prevail no matter what, but it's the justice that may not necessarily be here. It's the balancing out of energies. It's how the universe creates equilibrium and homeostasis within the energies that happen, because there's so many things happening that we don't really have any logical explanation for. And just know that and it's going to be really hard to accept, particularly if it's something um, tragic. But just know that nothing happens in this world without a reason. And there's so many different aspects to the law of karma that we are not even understanding, because karma is so much more than cause and effect. Um, Karma is really about balancing and harmonizing universal laws. And sometimes we do not have a logical response as to why something happened or something did not. And so focus on your inner strength and your ability to get through this, and that you have gone through, you have gotten yourself through this, and that's the most important thing, that you were able to rise up and in peace, because you wouldn't be asking for peace if you haven't already started to create that, because you're acknowledging that it's there, you're putting attention to the peace. So focus on the peace, and you're on the right track because you're already asking it, it's already phrased in your question. So focus on that. What can I do to create that feeling of peace just this hour, and then the next hour, and then the next hour? Or if you're already there, then just for this morning, or just for this afternoon, or just for this evening. And then the chunks get larger and larger and larger. And see, because it does work. And it doesn't mean you're relinquishing justice. You're actually encouraging the wheels of justice to turn. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's great advice. Um, Actually, today is Christine's birthday, so she says,
Oh, happy birthday.
yes, thank you so much for this. So helpful, she says.
Oh,
And
you're
yeah,
very welcome. Sending blessings and love.
and I also got a message from Denise saying hello. So happy to hear Francesca and you converse.
Yay, Denise.
And Maricar says thank you. Leah and
Oh,
Frankie.
Maricar, I miss you.
Yes, Maricar, by the way, has the most amazing ensamadas.
Ensaimadas. Oh my God, they're to die for. Everyone, if you haven't tried Maricar's ensaimadas, I swear you're missing half your life,
Yeah,
because they are absolutely delicious. The best
I,
ever.
I agree. Oh, well, yes, I think that's all we have for now. The questions are, yeah, no, I think no one else is typing any more questions. So thank you, Leah. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to
Thank
see you and
you.
to have this
Thank you.
session with you. Yes, wish you all the best. And I am going to be
And
signing up for one of your programs for sure. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and so we'll
Okay.
see you again soon. Thank you everybody for
Thank
tuning in.
you.
Replay will be available on the Awakened Soul page for those who've missed it or came late. And we'll see you next time. Love and light. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks.